Our hormones are so important for regulating so many functions within the body, and the balance of them is important for optimal health. You may have heard about how your diet can impact hormones, and more specifically, if our diet can impact our estrogen levels. I'm Elle Kelly, a specialist dietitian, and we're going to explore how our diet can impact our estrogen levels and look at what dietary habits can support optimal levels. What is estrogen? Estrogen is a group of steroid hormones that play a role in female reproductive health, including the development of the female reproductive system, fertility, and regulating the menstrual cycle. Estrogen is not just important for reproduction though, it also impacts other aspects of our health. Optimal estrogen levels are important for maintaining bone health, as estrogen plays a role in the development of bone mass. This is why those who don't have their period or are going through menopause have an increased risk of bone diseases like osteopenia and osteoporosis. This poses an increased risk for stress fractures and injury for those who are active. Estrogen also plays a role in heart health, which is why during menopause, a woman's risk of cardiovascular-related events increases. Estrogen levels can also impact body fat distribution, with evidence linking higher levels of estrogen with increased fat storage in hips and thighs. Estrogen deficiency has also been associated with a reduction in muscle strength. As we can see, there are many reasons as to why we'd want to avoid having either too high or too low levels of estrogen. But a lot of the time, this is largely out of our control, as there are certain conditions and periods in our life that can impact the levels of specific hormones, such as polycystic ovarian syndrome, known as PCOS, or menopause. If you do have concerns about your hormones, make sure to chat to your GP about this. However, we know that our dietary intake can impact certain hormones, including the levels of estrogen within our body. There is some evidence that certain dietary patterns may improve symptoms for those who have low levels of estrogen, such as during menopause, and that some dietary patterns are associated with optimal levels. One of the most important aspects of our diet when it comes to hormonal health is energy intake, so the number of calories or energy that you consume. Female hormones are extremely sensitive to our diet, and not having enough energy or specific nutrients like carbohydrates and fats can cause disruptions in the production of key hormones. The hypothalamus and pituitary glands in the brain are largely responsible for producing female hormones, and they work in combination with the adrenal gland to form the HPA axis, which helps to regulate our response to stress, metabolism, and energy levels. However, the HPA axis is incredibly sensitive to stress, which can be both physical or psychological. Not eating enough carbohydrates, calories, or exercising too much is considered a stress on the body, which can lead to hypothalamic amenorrhea, which is a condition that refers to the absence of a menstrual cycle. The hypothalamus is like our control center within our brain, and any sign that the body is under stress can lead to the hypothalamus stopping certain processes that it is responsible for, which can lead to stopping the production of sex hormones, which will influence levels of estrogen within the body. This not only impacts the menstrual cycle, but leads to effects on bone density, heart health, metabolic health, and performance. Eating enough energy overall to support your requirements is one of the best things that you can do to support optimal hormonal health. And making sure you get enough carbohydrates is key too. Studies have shown that not eating enough carbohydrate can increase levels of cortisol within the body, which will impact the function of the HPA axis too. Other aspects of the diet can influence estrogen within the body. Certain dietary patterns are associated with higher estrogen levels, whilst other dietary patterns may decrease estrogen levels. Have you heard of the Western diet? This diet relies heavily on highly processed foods and lower levels of whole grains, leading to higher intakes of salt, added sugar, and saturated fat, and is associated with an increased risk of diseases like diabetes and cancers. This way of eating has been associated with high estrogen levels and the related impacts, such as a risk of breast cancer. Studies have established that the Mediterranean diet, which is essentially the opposite of the Western diet, being rich in fruit and vegetables, legumes and nuts, oils and fish, may support balanced levels of estrogen. A study found that the traditional Mediterranean diet significantly reduced estrogen levels in comparison to the control group, which may reduce the risk of breast cancer. As of early 2024, more research is required to identify if there are specific foods that carry greater impacts and solidify that there is a direct link between estrogen levels and the Mediterranean diet. But nonetheless, there are so many benefits associated with this diet, such as a reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and increasing your lifespan. High fibre diets have also been linked with balanced estrogen levels, likely because fibre helps to remove waste from the body, which could help in removing excess estrogen and reducing the absorption of estrogen within the colon. Consuming more plants, either through the Mediterranean diet or including more plants in your diet in general, can lead to a higher intake of phytoestrogens, which are compounds that naturally occur in plants. Nuts, seeds, fruits and vegetables, soybeans and other legumes are sources of phytoestrogens. Due to their structure, phytoestrogens can bind to estrogen receptors in cells and can mimic the effects of estrogen within the body. A lot of the research around phytoestrogens evaluates their impact on menopause, where there is a natural drop in estrogen and other hormones, and can lead to symptoms such as lower sex drive, hot flashes, tiredness, changes in mood, and much more. These symptoms can truly impact a woman's quality of life, and some women may choose to use hormonal replacement therapy to help alleviate some of these symptoms by replacing the levels of estrogen and progesterone within the body. Some small studies have found that consuming soya, which contains a type of phytoestrogen known as isoflavones, may help to improve PMS symptoms too, due to the impact of high doses of soya on estrogen, where isoflavones can either cause weak or anti-estrogenic activity. This is an overview of how our diet can impact our estrogen levels, and as I've mentioned, there are certain dietary habits that can influence our estrogen levels, but be sure not to overlook lifestyle factors like stress, sleep and exercise, all of which can impact your hormones. If you do have any concerns about your hormones, be sure to chat to your GP. As always, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Myprotein YouTube channel for more great evidence-based nutrition information.